Hey fam, it's your colorful Am here, and I've decided that I am going to share this health journey, experiment that I've been going through with you all. If you watch my Morning Witch series, then you've seen a lot of the things that I do for like a more natural way of taking care of myself. Or if you listen to the podcast that I co-host with Maddie from Peace, Love, and Tea Leaves, which is Talking Tarot and Other Things, a podcast about all things occult. And we talk about ourselves and our lives a lot. And I talk about the things that I'm doing, like trying to reduce the amount of plastic in my home and things like that. And the things I share on my Facebook page, Amber is the color, and maybe some of my individual TikTok videos, I don't know. But like, just generally like trying to live a more natural, healthy lifestyle. So anyway, all these things are said to get to the point of I'm going to try and put the health piece all in one little series coherently and share with you the journey that I've been on. And like, this is a journey of like many years and many baby steps unto coming to big steps. About 15 years ago, my husband and I, we created our own garden, and it was huge. Like, the garden we built was probably half the size of my current kitchen. And not only did we create our own garden, like we made the soil for it out of like we composted leaves and used ash. Like, we made the dirt that we grew our food in. And every day I got to go out to the garden and pick fresh tomatoes and cucumbers to have with dinner, and it felt great. And then we moved, and we no longer had this amazing garden that was producing all of this wonderful fresh, all these wonderful fresh fruits and vegetables for us. But we moved to a town that had a wonderful farmer's market. And we switched over for several years to fruits and vegetables that were completely locally grown at our local farmers market. We almost didn't buy any produce at the supermarket anymore. And I felt amazing. I felt better than I'd felt in years. Then we moved again to a town that wasn't very far from the farmers market, but far enough that between just work and everything else, like, we couldn't make it out to the farmers market regularly. And slowly, after a while, like, we stopped, it stopped being all of our produce, and then it stopped being half of our produce, and then we stopped going to the farmers market because it was too difficult. And I could tell the difference in how I felt after I ate, and the difference in how my body processed the food that I ate. And then I had the ability to get fresh fruit and vegetables that were locally sourced at a farmer's market that opened up here in the town that I live in, Joplin, called Empire Market, and fucking amazing goods to be had. And now we're back to having our own garden. We have lots of different berries that we grow, lots of vegetables, several fruits, because technically tomatoes and cucumbers are fruits. We shop at Aldi now, where the vegetables are really fresh, the fruits are really fresh. I eat an apple a day, and I'm able to get apples that are grown locally, and they're my favorite kind of apple, and they come in a paper bag instead of plastic. I mean, it's amazing. But I figured maybe the food was a great place to start, because as I changed my diet, I could tell a difference in how I felt, in my energy levels, and the more natural my diet has become, the healthier I have felt as a human being. So even if it's baby steps, even if you have setbacks and you get back to it, it's very important to focus on having a healthy diet. I know it's easier to go to eat fast food, and maybe I'd still be in that place if it hadn't been taken away from me. I no longer can eat many fried foods. They upset me very much, and I'm no longer able to eat any meat meats. The only meat that I can have is seafood and shellfish. And maybe some of you are out there like, well, what does your doctor say? Well, I am one of the many Americans who has no kind of health insurance. I'm not able to afford it. It's not offered through the small business that I work at, and I run that small business. I know we couldn't afford it even if we wanted to for the people that work for us. But the point is, I don't need that, because I've been listening to my body and paying attention to my body, and I've been able to respond to problems I felt within myself, to not decide, but decipher where the problems were coming from. Nobody told me I couldn't eat meat anymore. I realized that when I ate meat, it upset my stomach. It made me very ill. But when I ate a meal that did not contain meat, I was just fine. And that's fried potatoes even. Fried potatoes just fine, but meat not fine. Avocados are great, but old avocados, the gases my body doesn't agree with. And maybe some of you are like, bitch, you sound crazy. But I know I'm not the only person who can't afford the doctor. Like, I have a wonderful doctor in town. He's a $30 doctor. But he's like one of the only options for those of us who don't have health insurance. And he can only see so many people a day. There's just one of him. And most of the time, my schedule doesn't allow me to see him on his schedule. And then I have one other option, but he's like 5 times as expensive. So then the other option is to, listen to my body, pay attention to my body. And I am fortunate enough that I'm part of the small portion of the population that can smell and taste infection. But enough of me defending myself not being crazy. The point of this first part of the video is to talk about, or not video series, the first video in the series is just to talk about the journey I've made through vegetables. Because that's what this is. This is a journey through vegetables that I made, going from almost solely frozen and canned food to almost solely fresh produce, and not just solely fresh, but mostly locally sourced, and not just locally sourced, but like grown in a healthy manner where the individuals growing the food actually care about the people eating it, not the dollar bill buying it. And if my crazy hasn't scared you off too much, I hope you take this journey with me, or join the video series to see the journey so far and then continue on the journey, because I've been working at it for 15 years, but it's not stopping. I'm just getting better. Hope you have a great day. Thank you for sharing some time with me.